And we should have a confirmation in a second now. Here we go. Very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us promptly. First meeting in May. We've got apologies from Mark. Unfortunately, his father is poorly. He had to fly to UK to attend to him. So you will have a pleasure of seeing me only today. We'll try to go quickly. I don't have big agenda, but first of all, as usual, Ukraine. I have to admit that things seem to be standardizing, normalizing, dreaded word, absolutely, with the situation as we've got. But as far as we are concerned, ship and crew managers, I'm not seeing much demand for the family support. We have been working together with ITF. We continue working with ITF, extracting people from Odessa. And I understand we are now waiting for the next bus to get people from Odessa and then spread them around. We do have some slack as far as accommodation is still concerned in Poland. So if any of you is looking for the accommodation in Poland, we do have 2 flats at the moment available. One bedroom, sorry, actually 3. One bedroom, 1 bedroom with the family, and 2 bedroom. So get in touch and we can definitely help. I have been pestering you for IMO numbers. I definitely need that. We are very good now with 90% companies responded, but I'm still waiting. And those of you who are on the call know what I'm talking about because I've just emailed you a bit earlier. Thank you. So we definitely need your IMO numbers in order to submit them to IMO. The idea is then obviously as an InterManager, the numbers are all mixed in a pot, so nobody can see which company has which ship. So rest assured, everything, even I'm not seeing it. You are sending it and I'm putting it into the one big pot. So we can then say that these are the ships managed by the InterManager members. EU emission trading systems. This is hotting up. I have a meeting tomorrow with BIMCO. We will be talking and I'll be reporting back to you. I also went back to some of members who were already showing appetite for this, and we definitely need to make a decision whether, as a third-party ship managers, we want to participate. We may not have a choice, to be perfectly honest, but at least we need to be ready. And I will come back to all our members asking, what is your position? How would you like us to represent you in this interesting new legislation and regulation? So brace yourself and be prepared for questions. They are coming. Captain Paddy McKnight was attending MSC in IMO last week. I had some IT issues with submitting his report. The report is with you now, today, along with my vlog. And Paddy's report is always very, very good. This time pretty heavy going, but as MSC was supposed to be heavy, so is his report. But a lot of reading there. So thank you, Paddy, and it's available and it was submitted to all of you using our portal. And tomorrow in Greece, Capital Link, and 4 our members will be participating there. So you will see our president Mark O'Neill, but also Henrik Jensen will be there, Tome, and who else? I've forgotten now. But it's an important meeting, and you guys will be talking about digitalization, but also crew management as such. That's all from me today. I've got no further issues. Nothing has been reported, no demands or requests. And as you can see, we do have today 2 gentlemen with us, Mark and Josip. That's the result of my visit to Portsmouth, where I met, and actually I was the guinea pig. They put the VR on me, and for the first time in my life, master of the LNG carrier, I was able to actually take big passenger ship into Longside. Was I sweating? Hell was. The reason for that also that the goggles themselves are pretty hot, but it's an interesting strategy and position. And so good. Then I invited Josip and Mark actually to come and talk to our members, and not about virtual reality as such, but the potential it presents actually to us, to crew and ship managers. So without further ado, Mark, I believe I'm starting with you, and then you guys between yourselves, and you will be sharing screen as well with the presentation. And obviously, I have sent 2 links to all of you, so you could familiarize yourself with the organization they are representing. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, Kuba. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, we've got your presentation, Mark.
Is that all okay?
Yeah, looks good.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate that we get this opportunity to just talk about the Maritime Skills Academy. Today, there's myself, Mark Yenneker. I'm the Training and Performance Director for the Viking Maritime Group, and I oversee the Maritime Skills Academy training centres. And with me is Captain Josip Kulas, and he's our Director of Training and Simulation for our Portsmouth Centre. What we were going to talk about today was briefly about us. Obviously, you've seen the videos, which you can get an insight into what we do physically, but I'll give you a small overview. And then the subject was around how we tailor-made our training and bespoke for clients, and how we run assessments for a lot of companies for pre-employment and promotions. And then we can just talk about some of the case studies, who we've helped for some of our clients. So about us, if you're not aware, the Maritime Skills Academy is part of the wider Viking Maritime Group, which was formed back in 1988. So we have offices in the UK, both Dover and Portsmouth, Guernsey, the USA, and that's Fort Lauderdale, Philippines and New Zealand. And the group is made up of 3 businesses, which predominantly support ship owners in crewing services. So it's Viking Crew, Chiltern Maritime, and the Maritime Skills Academy, or MSA. Viking Crew, just so you're aware, specialises in crew placement. So it's the recruitment of all types of crew for all types of ships. The management, which is predominantly around the crewing, so not technical. So it's the payroll, contracts, HR, all types of back office. And then deployment, so the travel, the flights, any hotels and transfers. Chiltern Maritime looks after cadet ships, so across all types of cadet ships, predominantly out of the UK, and we're mentoring over 350 young trainees annually. So we administer them on behalf of ship owners, we find them berths, sea times, and look after cadets through charitable companies as well. And then the topic for today is Maritime Skills Academy. So this is our training division in the group, and we focus on a personal tailored approach. That's predominantly how we try and run all our training. And we have around 5,000 delegates come through both training centres annually. As I said previously, we've got training centres in Portsmouth and Dover. The MSA Portsmouth, as we call it, is our simulation centre. So it's bridge resource management, ship handling. We've got a 360 tug simulator. We offer polar code training, and we have a full engine simulator training suite, ERM, high voltage, and LNG is coming very soon. And as Kuba talked about, virtual reality is probably our latest, working in partnership with Wärtsilä. Our MSA Dover Centre is predominantly based around the STCW, the safety courses, the basic and advanced. We have a survival pool, firefighting lifeboat centre, medical suites, and we look after the wind farms. And we have one of the only UK damage control training units where we actually can flood it and look at how we do different types of operations when it comes to damage control. And then all of this put together, we actually manage a lot of the training on behalf of the ship owners. This is our kind of tailored approach as well. So we can look at budgets, we can look at all the travel arrangements, and anything to make the life of the ship owner easier instead of just offering training. So when we talk about our tailor-made and bespoke training, we focus on this at our Portsmouth Centre in the simulation. So we try to be quite different to the traditional training centres, and instead of just running standard courses, every single shipping company that comes along, we look at their procedures, we look at how they do it and keep it tailored. So what we did, we looked at the feedback across all the sectors, and we tried to not keep it generic. We tried to just, you know, not teach standard procedures. A lot of the maritime colleges, universities, that's their bread and butter, and are brilliant at that. So all of the elements that we try and do, and Josip and his team will sit down and look at all of their procedures. And over the last 3 years since we've been running, we have very, very successfully implemented new safety cultures with shipping companies and even new training procedures. So a bit more detail about how we do it. So every company gets a full consultation, and this might happen over a number of meetings. We look at what their training needs are, what they currently have in place. Some companies don't have much. They'll send all their crew on standard training. We look at what their training and manning is. Do they have concerns? And especially, is there areas of improvement? You know, and by putting this all together, we can look at their budget, and we can look at their planning, and we can come up with a complete bespoke package for them. Let's say Josip will then look at the procedures, emergency procedures, checklists, onboard reports, and really go into a lot of detail with the HR team, with the fleet captains.
Basically, what we understood is, in communications to the different corporate clients and the companies and the managers, is, you know, the times when one generic course, I will take an example, BRM fits all, it's gone, it doesn't exist. It can be generic, yes, in order to obtain maybe some kind of generic certificates, but they went quite ahead of it. And, you know, they want to be specialized for their company. They want to be specialized for their types of the ships. Because, for example, the amount of resources and maybe an equipment which you have on the cruise ships, you don't have that on the bulk carriers. You don't have the same resources. And then there is no point to teach. You need to adjust this BRM, for example, to the resources which they actually have within their company, which they actually have within their on board their ships. And to make it that they understand how they will use what actually they have in their hands and which actually they can use on board the ship. So basically, that's now the way which majority of the companies is asking us to go. And if it's, for example, STCW course, we need to understand that first we need to satisfy the minimum requirements as per STCW, and then on top of it we can build. And we can add the things. As long as the minimum requirements are satisfied, we can build the new completely and make it every single course bespoke to you. In order to do that, sometimes if the ship is closed, sometimes we sail with the ship and observe what they are doing on the ship. And then we go through the procedures which are already established within the company, through all the checklists. Based on that, we prepare the program. And when the program is accepted by the shipping company, then we start with the training. So it's not basically that if some company comes and tell us, okay, we need ship handling or we need BRM, then we can say, okay, Monday we can have slot for you next Monday or in 2 weeks time or something like that. It takes a little bit of time to make it prepared and to make it bespoke exactly for your company. To do that also, we use your type of ships as the ship models. We use the ports where your ships are going. So in order to make it more relevant to the company, basically, and to achieve the goals which you want to achieve as the shipping managers, because I've been throughout my career, I'm coming from my background is cruise, and then I was doing on the beginnings. I remember the BRM, and we were on the cargo on the dry bulk ship, going to some ports, which basically within the cruise industry we never go, and I have completely the other resources on my ship which I didn't have there. And then every time when the instructor tried to tell us something, for example, I remember in 2000 we already had letter of exemption for the paper charts. They were saying, but you need to do this on the paper, but we were saying, but we don't use it. We don't have paper charts on board the ship. So it was not really relevant and tailored to us. And that's the reason now we tailor everything So it's not same BRM course, for example, for Scorpio or for Carnival. It's completely different. Each BRM course is different depending who is the client, basically, and what was agreed with the client. And based on that, we make it bespoke to do every single possible detail which we can for each of the companies. Yes, it makes it a little bit harder for us and for the instructors and takes a little bit of time, but then the goals and objectives which are achieved are much better. The other advantage is sometimes our clients approach to us and they said, listen, we realize that we have the problems in this and this phase or on this and this part of the business with our officers and the crew. Can you do something about it? And then we create together, working with them, the training program, especially for them. So we have the companies which approach to us and they actually specifically ask, now it's safe return to port is a big thing for some of them. And they specifically ask, we want, although it's not required, but we want safe return to port training for our officers because we understood that there is lack of knowledge based on that. So we create, working together with them, we create any training program which is basically needed for them. We constantly update and refresh the contents. So what we implemented as per part of our quality procedures is every 6 months we update every single training program. We take in consideration any maritime trends which are actually coming to the surface, any new regulations, of course, and we make sure that the program is constantly updated. So it's not that we sell to this company and that we train them, you know, for a few years based on everything, but every single update which we do, it's presented to them, and then in agreement with the companies, we basically go for it, and then we keep on going ahead. It was recognized by a lot of our clients, and recently more and more of the shipping corporations and shipping clients are looking into the way of promotion panels, into the way of new hires assessment and pre-training for the new hires. So we do with quite a few clients like MSC, Carnival Group, Virgin Voyages. We do for them the promotion panels. So promotion panel is set up for each group differently, and the objectives there is basically to see which candidate is the best at this stage and at this moment, maybe it's for promotion to the captain. From company to company is depending how many days, how many candidates they have. Usually it takes one candidate per date, and it is based on simulation program and also the program which we observe behavioral markers. Okay, objectives are both for deck and engine team, and some of them are situational awareness, how they make decisions, especially under the stress. In the case of the captains, it's ship handling, how they leadership, teamwork, and leadership and teamwork is very interesting because what we do there, we have the team which is assisting them on the bridge. So they have a full team which they will have anyway on board the ship of the officers for arrivals, and that's where we practically also observe how they portray this leadership, in which kind of leadership style they have, and how they can work and communicate with their team. So it's not only based on behavioral markers, it's also based practically on the simulator. Communication, very important thing, as we know today in today's world, because it's interesting. I just got call before the lunchtime from one of our cruise clients, and they had the navigational incident which was based on communication and knowledge of the equipment also. And how many times all of us, we try to improve our communication, we try to make it simpler and more clear to everyone, but unfortunately it's still one of these elements, human elements, which is quite often driving us into the problematic area and the trouble waters, if we can say. We observe procedures, we help basically how they follow the procedures, what are their knowledge of the procedures, how they manage the workload and the stress, not only their own workload and their own stress, how they manage their team workload and team stress. And of course, in these days, it's very important by the following ISM and use of appropriate checklists. So all this is basically observed practically during the promotional assessment. Based on that, report is made, and then of course, and suggestions for promotions, who we can see at this moment that maybe is ready to step up, and who maybe needs to concentrate more on certain parts of these elements before that person is stepped up to the executive position on board the ship. So all these things we are able to achieve in our centers basically, and as Mark rightly said, we work with at the moment with quite significant number of the cruise lines and more cargo ship companies, tanker companies. One of our clients is Carnival UK, where we help them develop the new BRM and assessments and promotion panels, Windstar Cruises, Virgin Voyages, Cemex Group, Ministry of Defence, Salmo Salvage for UK Ministry of Defence, Whitelink Ferries, Condor Ferries. So we actually have the experts in each maritime field and each part of the maritime industry. So for example, if we have the tanker client, so all the instructors are the ex-captains on the tanker ships. If we have the cruise clients, then me and the guys who are with the background from the captains, sorry, from the cruise ships, we take over. So because what we want to achieve is not only that you deliver the course, and you know very well how many questions is based in one course from the experience. So if our instructor if he hasn't done it, then it's very hard to have the answer if you haven't seen these type of ships, if you haven't worked on these type of ships and actually went through all this, you know, it's very hard to get an answer. So it's very important thing for us. It's basically to have all this experience within our instructors. And that's the reason why we have all the experts and the captains and chief engineers from different types and different segments of the maritime industry in our centers. As Mark rightly said, we added the tug simulator also, and what is the advantage? We linked everything. Even virtual reality is linked to every single simulator. So basically, you can have tug masters with their team in the tug simulator. You can have the cruise ship team on their cruise ship bridge. You can bring the pilot, and they will be linked as the part of the same exercise. And it's also linked with the engine room, so you can create the problems in the engine room on the same ship. And for example, like we take one pod out of the service, and then you increase the wind 35 knots. We have Portsmouth pilot on the bridge with the team from the ship. We have the Portsmouth tug masters on their tug simulator, and they need to go alongside with one pod and 35 knots of wind, which is not favorable for them in that case. So we try to create all these teams working together. And now advantage is we added this virtual reality, which is also linked with everything. So we can have quite a few ships in the same port, for example, with the pilots, with the tug masters, and we can simulate full, basically port operations and create the problems which we want in discussion with the pilots, basically. So that's what we create. We help the companies with their procedures quite often with investigations also. We were involved recently in two, unfortunately, it's happening, as we know, navigational incidents with some of our clients where we led their investigation for them and everything, and we try to find then the best course in order to prevent it happening. That's the main goal, to prevent something happening again. So yeah, it's quite wide variety of the things which we do with Maritime Skills Academy.
Thank you, Kuba.
Thank you, Jen. So I've got a few questions immediately. First of all, I can see that it looks like you are very heavy into the cruise industry, and it all started. But then you started saying then you've got now tankers, but also dredging company. That's an interesting one.
Yes.
Do you also see junior officers being sent, or are we only talking seniors here, chief engineers and masters?
No. So they send, okay. So I will go, the cruise lines, they send everyone from third officers above. Every single officer must go through the certain training. They have basically in their ISM, which they say that this and this for each rank, which kind of trainings must be done. The dredgers, the dredger company, they send second officer, first officers and above on the training. Ferries, majority of them, they send every single officer which they have on board the ship. The tanker companies, they usually send second officer and above for the trainings.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And the other question is, geographically, do you see, judging from what I heard, it's all UK based, isn't it? Or are you getting some owners, managers now from
everywhere? Basically, our owners are the shipping owners, and the officers who are coming here are basically from every part of the world, from Panama, Venezuela, Ukraine, all around Europe, Far East. We have really from everywhere. For example, Fred Olsen, they have a lot of the officers from the Far East, so they send the officers from the Far East. And our companies which we work with, it's some of them are in United States, some of them are in Germany, Holland, some of them, of course, UK-based companies, but they are all around. And the officers really which we see here, they're coming from all around the world.
Okay,
Right.
very good. Now, LNG bunkering, that seems to be a flavor of the month.
Yeah.
More and more ships are being built, and there is a requirement for LNG bunkering to actually participate. So it's an egg and chicken situation, because if you haven't got a vessel where you can actually send anybody to test. Are you seeing this as a trend now, that people are starting using simulation as a way in to actually providing hands-on experience?
Yes, so we have the cloud-based simulator, LNG simulator, cloud-based simulator, and we are just now finishing our approvals with MCA. So basically, in a week or two, we will have official approvals from the MCA in regards to it, and they are all now using the LNG simulator because it is allowed to do that. Yes, after a certain period of time, they will need to have some certain sea time, and they need to witness a few operations. But how you can deal with it is basically you can always issue the letter that they went through the course, and after this required time of the real LNG bunkering aboard the ship, the company advises us officially, and then we issue the certificate. So is something similar which is happening now with the Polar Code also, because they realize it can be the problem. For example, what happened with the Polar Code also was, for advanced Polar Code, they said to be certificate to be issued, you need to have at least 2 months of sea time in the polar water areas. But how you will get, some companies are now deciding to go to this area. So basically, what they say, yes, they need to go through the advanced course. You issue them the letter that they went through the course, and after the company confirm that they have these 2 months of the sea time, the certificate can be issued then officially for them. So the MCA understood, actually, and majority of the Europeans, Coast Guard agency, or probably almost all, actually, they understood that can have some implication. So they went in this direction, and they allowed simulation in order for obtaining of the certificates.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm opening the floor. Any questions from our members, please? Anybody, anything? No, very good. Okay, the presentation has been recorded, so it will be now sent to all our members. Mark, Josip, thank you very much. Great stuff. And I'm very pleased that I was able to actually attend your place. It's so close to the motorway. I passed so many times and never realized it was there. So it was very good educational for me. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and nice to meet you all.
Thank you. No ladies today on our call, I believe, but gentlemen, anything else for us, InterManager? Is there any issue you would like me to take up? Next meeting will be in 2 weeks' time, so any homework for me? Is there anything you would like to ask? Not seeing anything. Okay, then let's close this meeting. It's 29 minutes today, so fairly quick one. Thank you. I will be sending invite for the next one in a week time, and I am obviously looking for presenters. If there is anybody or anyone who would like to present, you've got something which other members should be aware of, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.